Hello everyone, welcome to Web Dev Metrics. In this video, we are going to see how to add a debugger on a website and debug it. So I'm using Google Chrome. So you can come over here and hit right click and click on inspect. The hotkey for Windows is F12, and on Mac you can use Command plus Shift plus I to open this panel. Then by default it opens up this Elements tab. You have to go to the Sources tab. Okay, and then you can see the list of your files over here. Then you can hit Control plus P or Command plus P on Mac. Okay, and you can just search your file if it is not visible on the left pan over here. So I'm searching for index.js. So this is my file which I want to debug. Okay, so now how to add a debugger over here. So debugger is also called breakpoint. So debugger or breakpoint is a point on your code where you just want to pause the execution in order to debug, right? So you can see the line numbers over here on the left pane. Then you need to just click on any of the line where you want to add the debugger. So suppose I want to add debugger on these 3 lines. Okay, so it highlights it by blue. If you want to remove it, then you can click on it again. Then that will basically remove the debugger. Okay, now if you refresh your page again, then if that line was executed on the page load, then it just stops the execution over there. Okay, and the beauty of this debugger is that you can see the real-time value while your code is actually executing. The way we do it is you can hover on any of the variable like numbers input, then it will show its value. Okay, yeah, then suppose I just continue the execution, then you can see the value of button over here. Okay, then if you go to the right pane, then you can see the variables in much more better format. Then for the variables that were related to your script are all clubbed under script over here. You can see the values for them. All the global variables, if you're having, then those will be grouped under global. Okay, then you can see all the methods and the variables that are available on your global window context. Okay, so I'm more interested in debugging what happens after I click the submit button. So I have this event attached, click event attached on my button, right? So let's go over here. So let me add some values, click submit. Then you can see that I had a click event listener, right? So I had just added debugger on line 17. So it just stopped the execution over there. Then over here, I can see the numbers, which I just retrieved it from my input box. Okay, so if I go on it, I can see those numbers. It is also output on the right hand side. If the output is pretty small, then it usually prints the values over here itself. Then you can see the numbers array over here, right? It will also show it on the right hand pane, all the local variables over here. Okay, so that is the way that you can see the values. Then debugger comes with a lot of controls. Okay, so how you can use those controls? So you can see all the controls over here, and there are 2 controls over here, which are like most commonly used. One is used to resume the debugger. So if I just click on it, then it will go to the next debugger if I am having in my code. If I don't have, then it will just terminate the debugger. Okay, so I had one other debugger, so that is why like it stepped over the next one. So suppose let me add a debugger again. So you can see that now the debugger stopped over here, right? The same button is also available over here. The shortcut for this is F8. You can click on F8 also to use it. Okay, now let's move to the other controls. So suppose I just want to step to the next line. Okay, line 16. Then you can use this step over. So step over steps to the next line in your script. Again, the hotkey for it is F10. Okay, but if I step over, then it won't go to the nested function calls which I have Okay, so suppose I didn't add a debugger in my nested function, which might also be available in other files, right? So if I want to step into any of the function, then I can use this step into. The hotkey for it is F11. Okay, so if I come to this line and I want to step inside this function, then I can use this step into, which is the shortcut is F11. So it will go to the first line of my the function which is over here. Okay, then I can continue to step over using this. So suppose if I just want to step out of this function, I'm not interested in further going line by line, then I can do step out, which is the next control available over here. So it steps out of that function and it pauses the execution to the last line, which was in my parent function, which actually triggered that function call, right? So this is step out. The shortcut is shift plus F11, step out. Okay. So I just resume my debugger again, then it came out. Okay. So now there are two other controls available over here. One is step, simply step rather than step over. So step does something similar to what step into does. So instead of just stepping to the next line, it also takes care of stepping inside the function if there are any other functions over there, right? So like I did it on the button.add event listener, right? So it directly stepped into the event listener internal function. So step into and step is helpful when you are using a lot of nested code, right? Then you can use that shortcut to step inside them. All right. Now switching to the next control, which is disabling the debugger. So suppose like I have a lot of debugger added, then it gets annoying at times when you load the page, then it always stops the execution over there. So you can disable all the debuggers. So one option is to remove the debuggers one by one. But if you want to disable all the debuggers, then you can just click on this. So it will deactivate all the debuggers and you just have to resume the execution once. Then all the debuggers are disabled. Now it will not stop the execution on them. If you want to execute the code while you are on the debugger, then you can also do that. So suppose I want to execute this function greatest number, then you just need to go to the console tab over here. And if I use this over here, okay, so if I enter something, and you can see that this function got executed, right? This function was not already registered, but it was available in my script. And when this line actually executed, then this function was available in this context and I can run it over here. Similarly, I can use the other variables, like I can directly use the numbers input variable over here and do anything on top of it, right? So this is the numbers input. So I can directly execute some code on top of my variables which are available in my code. This comes quite handy if we are trying to debug it. So currently my code has some issue. Let me show you and we'll see how to debug it. Okay. So I have three numbers. Okay. 1, 12, 9. So it is showing me the greatest number is 1, which is quite weird, right? However, if I just have 1 to 9, then also it's showing me the greatest number is 1. Okay. And over here it's showing greatest number as 0. So definitely there's something wrong. So if I want to debug it, so first suspect seems to be the greatest number function, right? So let's see how this works. So let me add a debugger. Again, refresh it. So let me call that function with these numbers again. So I had 1, 12, and 9. But you can see over here, I have the output as correct, right? It's showing me 12. And if I replace 1 with 0, then it's showing again 12, which is correct. Then something is wrong, seems wrong while I am retrieving those values, right? So let us add those numbers through here, 1, 12, 9. Okay. And let me enable the debuggers again. Let me add some debugger over here. All right, before I call this function. So you can see that these numbers are retrieved and when I'm trying to split it, then it's taking it as a string, right? So this is the problem, or it's taking it as a string, these numbers. And here I'm doing the comparison, right? So if I'm doing the comparison with the string, then it takes it in the ascending format or using the ASCII characters. So that's why it's messing it up, right? So here with the help of debugger, I'm able to identify it, right? So I just need to add parseInt over here or parse float to convert it into a numeric format so that I'm able to do the comparison for the numbers. All right. So let me add it over here. So I'm adding parseInt. I just want to use it for integers. Okay. So now let's see what's the output for 1, 12, 9. You can see now the output is correct. So this way debugger is quite helpful to see the actual output of the variables or doing the execution on the runtime, and it's quite helpful in finding the issues. So stay tuned, guys. If you have face any issues related to this, then you can add a comment. I will ensure to reply as soon as possible. Subscribe to the channel for more videos related to web development.